Fire Life.
Hey, welcome back everybody. I'm your host Angel. Welcome to my channel. And today we're going to talk a little bit about FIRELife Financial. And that's my business that is helping people win with money. And we have several things that we offer our clients. But most importantly, we just want to help people understand their finances and know what's possible when you take control of your money and how you can have a free life, a financially free life. And that's what FIRE is all about. For those of you that aren't aware of the FIRE movement, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but it basically stands for financially independent so you can retire early. And retire early doesn't mean that you just go sit back on the beach and do nothing. For most people, yes, that eventually that might be the case. But, you know, if you're younger, it just really means that you're free to do what you want to do. That you don't have to work for someone else. You can be free to work if you want to, not because you have to. And that's what FIRE is all about. So, FIRELife Financial, you know, we're all about freedom and we're all about integrity. We want to reach out to you, our audience, and our clients, and we want to empower you with information, with knowledge, so that you can go out and you can win with money, because that's what this is all about. If you can win with money, then you can be free to do the things that you want to do. You can buy back your time basically, so that you can go and live the life that you want to live. If you want to spend your life in service and you want to just be giving back, you don't have to be dependent on having to go to work and depending on that paycheck. You can go do the things that you want to do. Or maybe, you know what, you don't have to go and try to get a job where you have to make a certain amount of money so you can sustain yourself, right? If you live the right way, right, when you're frugal and whatnot, then you can go do the jobs that you want to do. Maybe you can go be an artist, or maybe you can go, you know, work for that nonprofit that's doing amazing things. And it's okay if you have a little bit of salary because you have other income streams, and that gives you a lot of choices and a lot of freedom to do the things you want to do. So anyways, let's get into some of this stuff, because first and foremost, I just want to say that my life mission is all about service. Okay, you actually have it here. I keep this on the board just to remind myself. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, right? And you know, regardless of what your faith is or don't have no faith or whatever, that shouldn't matter to you. What should matter is my heart and who I am and the integrity that I have, my character. But just for, you know, this full disclosure, so you guys understand who I am and what my life is all about. I'm all about making Jesus famous. Okay, my life is a life of service. That's what I want to be about, and that's what this symbol is all about here, right? Always selfless, always serving, because that's the American standard, right? That's what makes America strong. So this is my symbol. Don't be trying to steal that. I'm going to trademark that. But it's all about changing one life at a time. One life at a time. Maybe that could be your life that gets changed. And again, you know, there's obviously some, you know, spiritual connotations to this, but it's also about, again, for your finances and being free. And, you know, have a, you know, ministry arm that I'm working on. We call it the Christian Commission, but we can talk about that later. Anyways, let's get into some of this stuff. So, FIRELife Financial. One of the main things that we do is we offer financial coaching. So for my audience out there, if you're new to the channel, you're new to me, let's say you're not in my local area, which just for full disclosure, again, I'm in California. I'm in Orange County, California. So if you're ever in the area, reach out to me. I'd love to meet you. But regardless of where you are, in the country, around the world, we can help you. The financial coaching piece of it is a big piece of what we do. We offer one-on-one coaching. And I'll probably do a video of how everything works, you know, how it breaks down the full program that we're developing. But that is a lot of what I focus on, one-on-one coaching. We do a lot of things virtually, especially now with the COVID pandemic. You know, people don't want to meet in homes or whatnot, but we offer that. We offer one-on-one coaching. I sit down with you. I start to understand who you are as a person. I start to understand what your goals are. What are your ambitions? What does your future look like? What would be your ideal future look like, right? What would your situation be if you were free? If you were financially free, what would that look like? What's your number? We're going to get into some of that stuff. But that's where I sit down and I talk to you specifically about your situation break down your numbers. We start to develop a plan to get you to be winning with money. Probably for the most of you, much large majority of you, you're in debt. You're in some sort of debt. And I'm not talking about just the mortgage. I'm talking about like consumer debt. Right? And if you're not, I can help you break down, a plan so that you stay out of debt and you can continue to win with money. Okay, so that's a lot of what I offer, that one-on-one coaching. Okay, now, right now, as I'm been expanding and growing my business, there's a lot of opportunities, but in the near future, as things continue to grow and people are already starting to reach out to me, things are going to, get pretty busy. But I am building up a force of like-minded individuals who understand our principles, that are willing to teach this stuff. So, eventually I'll have a team that can help you no matter how many clients decide to reach out to us. But for now, because of my availability, I can help you one-on-one. So that's a lot of what we do, financial coaching. The next big thing that we help people with is debt management. Now, this is absolutely critical, okay? Because if you're in debt, then your money, your hard-earned money, your income, okay, that you go out and you sweat and you labor for, right, that you sit in a cubicle all day for, that you're out in the world doing your thing for, right, that time that you're trading for money, if that money is going to some financial institution, that's a real problem. That's robbing yourself of your future. Because a lot of that money could be going towards investments, towards your savings, towards things that are going to give you a lot more opportunities and, again, help you live the life that you want to live. So debt management is absolutely critical. Okay. Now, I know there's some gurus out there and there's financial teachers and stuff that say all debt is bad. Okay. And for the large majority of people, because they don't have a lot of self-control, you're probably right. You're absolutely right. It's bad. Right? And the Bible says, hey, the debtor is slave to the lender. But if you learn to leverage debt the right way and you are disciplined, you can actually maximize and really set things up for the future. And we're going to get into some of that stuff in future videos. I think I don't know if some of you have seen the video I talked about velocity banking, infinite banking. We're developing a concept that we're trying to call our FIRE banking system, which is going to talk about all those things. So we'll have future videos about that. But debt management, you have to get control of your debts. You have to understand how much money is going out, right? How much money is coming in, what's going out, and how can you reduce that, or how can you leverage that as a tool to help you build your financial future. And again, a lot of what we teach as well is the FIRE movement. Okay, and that again is all about freedom, having the freedom to make choices for yourself. And the way we do that is we teach minimalism, frugality. You got to be frugal. You got to live on much less than what you make. Because if all your money's going out to debts and living expenses, you're robbing yourself. You're robbing your future generations. So minimalism, you have to learn to do without. We've gone through a whole process for ourselves. For those of you that don't know, I think Maria Kondo and other people who are teaching minimalism and decluttering your home and all that stuff. We went through that whole process last year, and it's been so liberating. I cannot tell you how amazing it is to walk through my home now, and things are clean. There's just very small things, and the things that we have bring us value. They're things that we actually care about, things that make us happy, and it's not just a bunch of junk. So I encourage you, if you have not looked into minimalism, that you start checking some of that stuff out. We're going to have some videos about minimalism later, but if you can learn to live a very modest life and cut back on your expenses, cut back on your purchases, and really start to take control of that, man, you have so much more to work with. So much more to work with. So minimalism, we teach that. Okay? Being focused, having self-control, discipline, right? And we also teach having multiple income streams, how to set up multiple income streams. You want to have different income streams coming in. Okay? More inlets. Right? And then that way you can use that and you can start to maximize those things. Right? And hopefully it's passive income, where you're not actually having to go out there and do a bunch of work for that money. Your money starts to make you money, right? Whether that's investments in real estate, right? Where you have rentals. There's a lot of different things. We're going to get into that. We're going to have a few videos about that, about how to set up different passive income streams, right? And hopefully you're putting money away in stocks and bonds and 401ks, Roth IRAs, and things like that, so that later on in the future you can maximize some of that stuff when you're ready to actually retire and not work anymore. One of the things that we want to make sure we're thinking about is tax-free income streams. Okay, and there's a few out there, but for some of you that haven't read the book, The Power of Zero, you have to check out that book, because you start to understand that, look, Uncle Sam wants his money. Uncle Sam's going to get his money, and you have to do everything that you can to limit how much Uncle Sam is going to get. So you should be leveraging things like Roth IRAs, right? Roth 401ks, life insurance. Right, we're going to get into some of that stuff. That's the other thing that we do. I didn't write it on the board, but we also help with life insurance. And we can help you set that up, especially if you get into the infinite banking system, our FIRE banking program. So we're going to teach you about some of those things. Now, one of the main things that we offer is our signature Pinnacle program. Okay, everyone, if you can get to a point, what Dave Ramsey would call your pinnacle point, where your investments are making you more money than your regular day job, you've hit the pinnacle point. Okay, that's where the interest and dividends and things that are coming in are now making me more money, and I don't have to work anymore. And that's where I want everyone to get to. And you have to know what that number is. And that's the next thing. You have to know your numbers. This is absolutely critical. You have to know what is your FIRE number? How much income do you need, or how much money, investments, net worth do you need so that you don't have to work anymore? Where you can live off of the interest and dividends and income that's coming in. How amazing would that be? And everybody has a different number, because depending on how frugal you are, how much of a minimalist you are, or not only that, but like where you live. If the cost of living in your area is super low, man, you're in a much better boat, because your FIRE number gets really low. But now again, that's relative, right? Because if you're living on the West Coast, right, or anywhere on the coast, things are a lot more expensive, especially in New York and California, San Francisco, things like that, right? So our FIRE numbers are going to be probably really different, vastly different. So you have to know what that number is. Let's say you're living somewhere in, I don't know, Missouri or Iowa or something. Maybe your FIRE number is only 400,000 or 500,000. Or someone living in California in Orange County, that number might be 5, 6, 7 million or more. So depending on how your lifestyle and on the type of lifestyle that you want to maintain, that number could be very different. But you have to know your numbers. Okay, you have to start there. It's absolutely important. Now, with the FIRE movement, one of the main things I see people say is that you should be saving 50% of your income, right, into investments and things like that, putting your money away. So if you can learn to live off of 50%, and that's take home pay. I'm talking about take home pay. If you can learn to live off of 50% and save or invest 50%, you're in a really good boat. And maybe you could live off of 40% or 20%, right? Maybe your income's that high, who knows? Or maybe you've reduced your expenses that much. Imagine if you didn't have a mortgage payment and you were living mortgage-free, rent-free. All that money could be going, right? Because for most people, the vast majority of your income is going to housing, right? So if you could live off that, maybe you go buy a piece of land, you pay off cash, and you're living off the grid. That's one of the things I love, like off the grid living. That's the future for me. Solar, right? Some kind of, water catchment system or whatever it is. Live by some kind of water source, well, whatever it is. So you eliminate that. At the most, maybe you might be paying us for some satellite internet or something. But man, that is the future for me. That's where I'm headed. I want to be off the grid. I want to try to minimize the amount of expenses that are going out so I can just maximize my investments, my cash flow, and live a very bountiful life. Okay? So, if you want to work with me, if you want help, you have to know your numbers. Those are one of the first things we're going to talk about, besides your goals and things like that. you have to know your numbers. So the main numbers, your income, how much income is coming in. We get very down to the penny. We want to know how much actually is coming in. Your expenses, right? And this could be, an estimate, and I would estimate a little high, be conservative, so that way you have a little bit of wiggle room. You don't want to underestimate, especially like, when you get into utilities and things like that. It's summertime, expenses go up, so make sure you give yourself enough buffer there. You have to know your debts. You have to know your debts. Again, how much you owe. If you work with me, I'm going to ask very specifically what are anybody that you owe money to, any person, any entity, any institution. If you owe money to someone, it's a debt. Student loans, whatever it is, it's a debt. You owe your mom $20, I want to know about it. Because you know what? I want you to be free. That's what FIRE is all about. Freedom. So you have to know your debts. You're going to list them out. I want to know the balance, the payment, the interest amount. All of that is important. All of that. So we're going to have to know that. And ultimately, the magic number is your cash flow. How much disposable income do you have? Okay, that's a big number. Because this is what's going to dictate a lot of what we can do as we start to set you up for the future and to get you to be FIRE. When you're on FIRE, man, the freedom that you have, what you're able to do, the opportunities, the choices that you can make. Imagine if you didn't have any debt. Imagine if you had no payments whatsoever of any kind. No house payment, no credit cards, nothing. You're living free. Maybe the only thing you're worried about is utilities and stuff, and you have a good amount of savings in there. You have investments going on. Let's say you're at work and your boss comes in, again, yelling at you, screaming, all of you, whatever he says. You know what? Just get up, grab your stuff, start walking out the door. And I was like, wait, where are you going? I don't have any payments. And off you go. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be awesome? Having no debt gives you so many options, right? Your cash flow is booming. When you have a good, emergency fund saved up, when you have good access to capital, you have sky's the limit. Now, if you're a business owner, okay, we also help you, right? We want to start to focus on business owners because I'm all about entrepreneurship. I want to help you, again, as you start to think about multiple income streams, right? Maybe that's some kind of, side hustle that you want to do. So I'm going to be talking about side hustles. We're going to do a video about that, like your top 10, top 20 different side hustles that you can do from home, working on the computer, whatever it is, Amazon FBA, whatever it is. We're going to get into some of that stuff. But again, the idea is you build multiple income streams, you have passive income, and you have to know your numbers to get to FIRE. What does that look like for you? So again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, FireLifeFinancial@gmail.com. Our website's being built out, so eventually we'll have a different email, but for right now, it's FireLifeFinancial@gmail.com. Another thing I also want to touch about, I do life coaching. So as we get into spiritual things and just your whole life in general, not just your finances, this is where, some of this stuff comes into play. You can reach out to me at TheEnlightenedCoach, TheEnlightenedCoach@gmail.com. Again, TheEnlightenedCoach@gmail.com. You can reach out if you want help, life stuff, and we're going to have videos about that as well. But yeah, so this is FireLife Financial. Again, my name is Angel, Coach Angel, you can refer to me as. If you just need some help, if you just want to know, hey, these are my numbers, what would you do, what would you recommend, again, without getting into full actual help one-on-one coaching, just send me your numbers. You can send me your numbers and say, hey, what do you think, what should I do? And I'll just give you some quick advice or whatever, and that'll help me too, just to understand a lot more different scenarios about what people are dealing with. So yeah, reach out, send me your numbers, income, expenses, breakdowns, debts, breakdown, and then what's your cash flow. So look forward to speaking with you. Love to hear any feedback. Make sure you leave me some comments if you think this video is good. Maybe why don't you leave me comments of what kind of videos you want to know about, especially when it relates to finances and whatnot. And if you need help with debt management, that's a big thing that we do. If if you want to take the easy path, we have some debt management solutions that we can help you with. So reach out to me for that kind of stuff. Let's say you don't want any of the one-on-one coaching, but you just, I just need some help with debt management. It's not debt consolidation, no loans or anything like that, but we help break that down and pay off a lot of that stuff. So reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. All right. So thank you very much. Appreciate you. Remember, smash on that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video. All right. Appreciate you all. Take care. Goodbye.